Good morning, everybody. Let me check some techie stuff and make sure that everybody's live and on demand. Yay. Hi, guys. It's good to see you. Happy Monday. Happy, technically, second week of November for some of you, first week in November for others. We're going to talk about what those kids are learning in classes this week. Now, just to reiterate kind of what we talked about last week, this is a weird month because the first day of the month fell on a Wednesday, and I make videos on Mondays. Very, very odd. So last week when I talked about everybody who was doing stuff in classes for the first week, I was really only talking to the Wednesday, Thursday, Friday people. You Monday, Tuesday people, now this is your first week. So you got to go back and look at last week's video in order to find out what your people are doing today and tomorrow. I'm talking week 2. So that means this coming Wednesday through Thursday, Friday, and then the next Monday, Tuesday. I promise it will all get fixed in December. It's just, we have to put up with it for this one. Okay. All right. So I want to talk you through everything that's happening and in all those classes and where we're at on projects. I did pull some of our examples from the cubbies. So I'll show you what our week 1 artists did get done. And if you are in a Monday, Tuesday class, then you can kind of see what's coming for you in your class this week. And I have a green jacket on and I'm going to take it off because it doesn't like my green screen and it's going to drive me crazy. So slide that off. Some days it's not, doesn't pick it up as much. My G on my shirt also is see-through. That's fun. All right, here we go. Let's go through our preschool artists. Write my notes, make sure I don't miss anything. So this month, our preschoolers are working with pattern. We're looking at the art of Henry Matisse, and we're doing ink art. We read last week a book by Peter H. Reynolds. We read the book Ish, and we made Ish art. And then we worked with Sumi ink and started on a portrait project that's going to take us the whole month long. They're fairly large size. We used Sumi ink, which is similar to like an India ink, and then and brushes, and we did some really amazing line work. This week in our classes, we're going to read Where the Sidewalk Ends by Shel Silverstein. If you're familiar with that book, it has some beautiful ink illustrations, so just kind of pen and ink drawings. We'll spend some time looking at some of his funny drawings and reading some of his funny poems. We won't get to read the whole book because it's a ginormous book, but we'll read a selection of them and then note the illustrations. The kids will get a chance to make their own funny illustrations. And then we're going to add patterns to the back kind of background of our current portraits that we're working on. So they're going to use Sharpie markers and add patterns to that. I think that's it. That's it. Our multimedia kiddos, remember it's ink month for them as well. So I brought some examples. My K1s, my second thirds, my K through thirds are doing a self-portrait project. We're doing it on a smaller scale than what our preschoolers are doing it on. And they're also using the Sumi ink for their first step. And then they will move to Sharpie doodles, and then they will work from like washable marker liquid ink. Okay. So this was an example of some of the self-portraits that were drawn in the Thursday class in Liberty. And I love how amazing they did with their line work. Look at these teeny, teeny, tiny lines, you guys. That is brush work. That is done with a paintbrush. That's amazing. We talked a lot about keeping the brush up on its tippy toes and rather than smashing it into the paper. That requires a lot of motor skills, requires a lot of patience. You have to move a little bit slower when you're drawing with a pen and ink or with a brush and ink because you have to keep going back and dipping into the well. It's not like a marker where it doesn't run out, right? So hopefully they really enjoyed that. In the next week's class, we're going to take these drawings. We're going to divide up the background. The composition choices have to happen. How will you divide the background? Will it radiate out from the portrait? Will it have shapes in the background? Will it be like squiggly lines? Will it be organic? Will it be geometric? They will divide it all up, and then they're going to fill their background with different patterns. So I brought some of our reference pages to show you, just in case people are like, I don't understand what you mean by patterns. So a simple pattern would be a stripe, right? Or a checkerboard or a polka dot. And we have lots of different examples of patterns that they can use to fill up their background. And they don't have to use these patterns. They can make up their own if they want to. But this is a good kind of jumping off point or starting point for them to understand how like limitless the patterns are that they can use. We also have pages with much more complex patterns. These are the simple ones. I'm going to slide these, organize myself. These are the more complex ones that we'll also give them as a reference if they'd like to really go crazy. So we'll get some ink doodles and pattern drawing going on in their artwork. And then the following week, we'll work with color. My 4th and 5th in my homeschool classes are doing an ink and fire project. Let me pull out a couple pieces of paper. I did bring an example for you of what the fire component looks like. Now remember, we're not doing fire this week. I don't think. Some of our instructors might start, but this is an example of an ink and fire project from previous years. It is bigger than what we're working on this year, but I wanted to show you it for the example. So you'll see there's a doodle drawing underneath it. And then there's color on top, and the color almost looks wet. The color is not on the drawing. The color is on the glass. I'm going to take it apart and show you. So this is the ink drawing. It's just done in black and white. And this is the glass. The glass is painted with alcohol inks. We drop all the inks on top of the glass and then swish them around and light them on fire. And that's what creates the color component of our drawing. So that's what our kids are working on, again, like for ink and fire this month. Theirs are smaller, so the frames, hang on, I have an example. I just have to find where I put it. There it is. The frames are smaller this year. The art will be smaller this year for time reasons. We had a lot of people not finish in previous years, and so we're trying to prevent the overwhelm and actually be able to like set our kids up for success so they can finish their artwork. So we're working a smaller scale, just as detailed, same project. The 4th and 5th and the homeschool classes are doing small little mushroom worlds. They looked at examples of mushroom worlds here. And they did some doodling, some brainstorming in their journals. And then this is their like final composition paper. You can see they got the pencil drawings done, or mostly done. This coming week, they will work with ink. So all of the lines they want to keep will get traced with either a fine point Sharpie, which I don't have here. I was going to hold it up for an example of ultra fine point Sharpie, or the micron pens. So we've got a couple different line weights in the microns so that they can play around with that. So they'll get all that inked, and then they'll get their pencil line erased. And then this week they're going to start adding in line weight, which is how thick a line is, stippling, scrumbling, and cross-hatching, which are 3 techniques we use in ink drawing to add value. Okay? By value, we mean the grayscale, shadows, depth, that kind of stuff. Okay? My older kids, my 6th, 7th, 8th through 12th classes, similar projects that they're going to be working in the frames. They're going to do an ink drawing underneath it, and then the alcohol inks and the fire on top. Same scale, so it is this size. Different subject. Instead of doing mushroom worlds, they're doing animal Zentangles. So I've got some examples here. We got somebody that chose a turtle. And you can see she's gotten pretty far, right? So we got the pencil drawing done. We got it already inked. We got the pencil lines erased. And now we're filling in each of the different sections with some of these patterns. And they use the same pattern references as that I just showed you in the other part of the video. So we've got all these really great pattern ideas, and then they can also create their own patterns. So there's one example. Here's another one that I found in the cubby. And each one of these sections will have a different pattern in it. They can also do pattern drawing in the background if they want to. One of the challenges of this is once we start filling it with pattern, do we lose the subject? And then how do we bring it back? And a lot of times we do it with line weight or with contrast. We'll solve that when it comes to it. So those are some of our examples of our in-progress works. Again, if you haven't had your class yet, because you're a Monday, Tuesday class, you guys will be getting to this point in Monday and Tuesday. If you're already here, then you're a Thursday class or Wednesday class or Friday class. That means that you will be finishing this week. Our goal is that everybody finishes their ink drawing this week so that next week we can do all the really fun alcohol inks. But don't worry, we're going to look at a calendar a little bit later, and that's going to help everybody. Creative explorations class, you guys. Okay, so we started a new month with new curriculum. They do a little bit of everything. They explore pattern, just like our multimedia classes, and even our fundamentals are doing pattern. They do ink, just like multimedia. They do still life, just like our drawing classes. They have sensory items as well. The most popular station for the first week was the Sumi ink. And so we're excited to see what the kids make with the Sumi ink. It is a different kind of drawing. And we're going to get out some of the straw nibs that we used in drawing class last time we got out Sumi ink, as well as look at purchasing some calligraphy nibs, since that seems to be an interest. We want to make sure that we feed that interest. So I am pricing out calligraphy nibs. I might just go to, if anyone's ever been to Artist Craftsman downtown, and get their recommendations, because it's not something I know well, and they'll be able to point me in the right direction. So hopefully we'll have those for you before the end of the month so the kids can play with the nibs. Drawing classes. I'm going to switch some of my stuff down here so I can show you what drawing kids are doing. So if you are in a Monday, Tuesday drawing class, I'm going to be showing you what our last week's students did, and this is what you will be doing in class in week 1. And we'll talk about week 2, okay? So drawing classes for 101 in week 1, we did a warm-up, which was super fun, and they just did a observational drawing of Campbell's soup. That's because later on this month, we're going to introduce the art of Andy Warhol and actually turn our drawings into a printmaking project. And so I wanted to just kind of give them an introduction. So they did a little bit of drawing there. But the main lesson was recipe drawings. There's another Campbell's soup, which was really fun. Their recipe drawings were meant to visually communicate how an item is made or how an item is served. And what I didn't anticipate was how much fun they would have making up recipes. So rather than thinking about how mom makes whatever, or how grandma makes whatever, or her dad makes whatever, they made their own. And so we ended up with a lot of really great pizza recipes. This is a dessert pizza recipe. So it shows the steps and the ingredients. It's all done from imagination. We did have some grocery ads, just because that's such a visual representation of pizza, or of reading it, of food, and giving us images to give ideas from. So it was a really fun one for them to do. You can see they did a kind of a 3-step process where they use pencils to draw first, and then ink to go over it, and then color to add to it. So very illustrative drawing type right here. Remember, our drawing 101s don't do strictly realism or strictly comic and cartoon. They kind of straddle the line and do a little bit of both. So we're okay with a little bit of illustrative. This coming week, we're going to be working with kind of more towards realism, and we're going to do an observational drawing from trees. And so we've got photo references, so not illustration, but photographs. And we're going to draw trees. We'll explore mark making and the types of marks we can use to represent leaves realistically. That'll be our drawing 101 this week. Drawing 102s. Okay, maybe get my, take a breath, Allison. Sometimes you just got to take a breath. Drawing 102s. So our advanced realistic class, I work in Liberty, guys. So when I pull things, I'm usually here in Liberty. My drawing 102 advanced realistic class is a Tuesday night class. So we only have one of them. They haven't met yet. I don't have anything to show you in terms of their curriculum, but that week 1 is the colored pencil landscape, right? Colored pencil landscape. Let me check my notes. Yes, from photographic reference. This week, they're going to be doing, they're going to do leaves. So we've got leaves right from the trees outside, kind of more of a botanical illustration or something close up, right? So drawing leaves from far away in trees and landscape is very different than having a leaf close up and drawing it. Both observation, but because this one's from life rather than from photograph, it's just a different exercise. And they're going to use chalk pastels to do that. My 102 comic, however, you guys do have classes. So I've got examples for 102 comics. So this week 1 was about the heads. So it was, how do I draw a head straight on, the shape of a head? And how do I draw a head at 3/4? How do I draw a head at How do I draw a head at 3/4 from above, 3/4 from below, right? So it's how to, where does the jaw shape, how much of the forehead can I see, all of that fun stuff. So turning the head in space and changing the viewer's perspective. We did a really great lesson in drawing the same head, right? Because our characters should be able to move through our story, should be able to move through space. So here's one example. Got another one over here. I think this artist did a really great job of getting kind of some of the bone structure of a skull, kind of our cheekbones and how that is shaped. The papers, you guys, these are things that we stick on the drawing so that we can identify like what sketches and work through was with what lesson. So you've got goals and different things and objectives. Okay. This week for week 2's lesson, we're going to drill down even further into the head, and we're going to look at eyes, because eyes are such a big part of comic and cartoon. Not only do they identify our character and our style, but they also show emotion. So their challenge is going to be not like obviously drawing all different types of eyes and creating a library of eyes that they could choose from when creating their own characters, but also how do I take that same eye in that same character and show it sleepy, show it happy, show it scared, show it mad, without changing the identity of the character. So it'll be a fun challenge for them. Some of our kids are on the level where they're just learning to draw different eyes. And then some of them, remember, because this is a wide age range from 3rd to 6th grade, some of them are ready to take a character they've developed and an eye that they already use and begin putting, you know, emotion on it or turning it to the side or stuff like that. So we're excited to share that lesson with them. Switching. Okay, 103, we're kind of in a similar boat. We haven't had any 103 classes yet. So I'll reiterate what the projects are, but they will meet for the first time tonight because they're Monday, Tuesdays. My 103s for advanced realistic have candy still life. So we've got a whole bunch of really great, almost movie, like movie candy. So it's like the big box of Milk Duds and the big box of Junior Mints and Sour Patch Kids and different things. And they're going to create a still life out of that, take a photograph of it, and then work from that photograph. So they'll have to decide their own composition on whether it's a pile of candy or if it's like 3 things, or if it's cropped in really close cropped, or if it's zoomed out, or if, you know, however they do it. They will create their own composition using that like set of objects, create a photograph, and work from that in graphite and black and white. They are working smaller this month, just like our multimedia students, working smaller so that we can get it done even with the holiday. My comic and cartoon, same thing, working smaller. Their challenge is in perspective. We're doing that 1-point or 2-point perspective. They're supposed to draw a city scene. Got to put their characters in the city scene and set them up using those rules of perspective. I will have project examples to show you guys next week. All right, housekeeping. You ready for this? It's not quite as much as last time, but still a lot of information. We talked last week about spring semester. I want to reiterate, everybody has to re-enroll. So the fall semester is September through December, through the end of December. The spring semester is January through May. It is not a repeat. So I had some people confused about that. We don't do the same thing. It's all brand new stuff. So those drawing kids continue the curriculum. They continue and to build on what they've learned. We don't repeat until next year. The multimedia kids continue with different media. So this last fall semester, right, we did chalk pastels and clay already. We're doing ink, and then December is watercolors. In January, we do acrylics. February, we do printmaking. In March, we do mixed media. In April, we do fiber arts, and in May, we do metals. And so it's all new stuff. It's not a repeat of the fall semester. Same thing with the fundamentals. You guys, like, they continue on their curriculum journey. It's not a repeat. Same with creative exploration. So hopefully everybody understands that. So spring semester, everybody re-enrolls. Now, some of you haven't enrolled since August, right? You enrolled August 1st, and maybe you paid all your like tuition. Some of you don't know what, why am I out of focus? I don't know. Some of you, it's been so long, you don't know how you enrolled. So we just want to make sure that nobody misses the chance to get re-enrolled for the spring. So we do 2 enrollment periods a year. One of them is August 1st to August 31st, and one of them is December 1st to December 31st. But you guys, we want to make sure that we give you a chance to snag your spot in class before December 1st, because when I open the links up, anybody can grab them. They will be open on the website. So when there's 15 people on the wait list for Drawing 102 Comic and Cartoon on Tuesday night. Anybody can grab those links starting on December 1st at 9 a.m. So we want to make sure that we give you guys a chance to sign up ahead of time for the class that you're currently in. What that means is this week I will start rolling links out to you. You will get an email. It's going to be sent through the Sawyer system. So make sure you check your spam, but it will be out before Friday. And the title on it should be something like early registration links. I mean, it should be really, really clear. You can just search it in your inbox, but it will have the link for the class you are in. So if you are in Thursday fundamentals, it'll be the link for the Thursday fundamentals class for the next semester. And that's it. You don't get access to all of them, just the one that you're in. So that way you can get that same spot. Now, let's say you want to do a different class, then send me a message back, because if that class isn't full, I'll go ahead and give you the link. It's fine. If that class is full, then I have to kind of wait and see. Once we get the links out and we start seeing registrations roll in, my goal, one of the reasons why we're starting this early, is to not have anybody fall through the cracks. So if we get to the week of Thanksgiving and I don't have a registration for you yet for the next semester, you might get a message from me. And it's not gonna, if you're like, oh, we weren't gonna do next semester, it's fine. I don't want to make anybody feel bad if you're not planning on coming back for next semester, but I don't know, and I don't want to miss anybody. So you might get an email from me or even a phone call from me just to check and make sure that we're not gonna miss you for that spot. Okay. The other reason we're starting a little bit early is it is the holiday season, and I know sometimes finances can be a little tight this time of year. And so giving you a chance to spread it out a little bit further, we do have a payment plan, just a 2-part payment plan where you pay a little bit now, and then the rest will hit in January for Studio Club. So that'll be an option if you wanted to spread it out a little bit more. Yeah, and if it's really a struggle, if you're like, I just can't pay January's tuition in November, then just reach out to me so we can work that through, as I don't want people to lose their spot for that reason. We'll get that registration out, and then I'll just handle everything on a case-by-case basis. Hopefully that is clear as mud. There's always a lot of confusion over that, but hopefully what's really clear is you have to re-enroll. If you do nothing, you will have no class in January. Always confusing. Let's look at Thanksgiving, okay? I actually have visual aids for you guys this class, or this video. I hate coffee for that. Here we go. We're going to be closed from the 22nd to the 26th because my staff is on vacation too. My staff is on Thanksgiving as well. So there's no makeups and no classes. That's a Wednesday through a Sunday. No parties, nothing. Here's the schedule. So if you were in a preschool class, I want you to look at this lovely graphic. This is the calendar for the month of November, and you can see the 22nd through the 26th is grayed out. That's when our studio will be closed. The little turkey is the day of Thanksgiving. There are 3 classes for preschool. You only ever meet 3 times a month. So I put a star on every time your class meets. If you're in a Monday class, you'll see that you're meeting today for preschool. You're meeting next week for preschool. Then you have a week off, and then you come back and you have your 3rd class here on the last of the month. Okay? Same with the Tuesday people. But if you're in a Thursday or a Friday class, you guys have all of your classes before Thanksgiving. Hopefully that makes sense to everybody. Let's look at creative explorations. We only have these classes on Wednesdays and Fridays, so this is what your schedule looks like. Okay, you're done before Thanksgiving. And here's our multimedia one. So if you are in multimedia or drawing, any of the drawing classes, this is what your schedule looks like. You are a 4-time-a-month class, so you have to get all 4 classes in. Everybody comes after Thanksgiving. That week after Thanksgiving, everybody has it. My Thursday people, obviously you have Thanksgiving off. You can see the 22nd and the 24th will not have makeups, so don't come. We are going to try to finish everybody's project in the 3rd week. So on the 16th, that's the 3rd class for Thursday people. So we are going to try to send projects home that day if possible. Same thing for the 21st and the 20th. We're gonna try to send projects home. So that way in this last week, right? So in the 27th, 28th, and the 30th, in that last week, we can do our Friendsgiving celebrations and just enjoy each other's like company. Okay. There are no bring a friend nights. We've done that in the past in Thanksgiving week. So we've done it this week. But there's no bring a friend nights this year. We've just gotten to where our class sizes are so big that for safety reasons and overwhelm and staffing, we just can't double our class sizes in good conscience. So we are not going to do a bring a friend. We're just going to celebrate friendship with the people that are already here. So we're going to celebrate friendship with our current community. Okay. Other housekeeping stuff. Last thing, just to note, the Creative Entrepreneurs Workshop is coming up this Sunday. I am leading that. So if you've got an artist who is like a pre-teen to teen who's interested in the business side of art, we're going to be looking at like different ways that artists make money. We're going to look at like the importance of branding, the importance of customer service skills, the importance of a social media presence and how that impacts your business. So even if like if you're like, oh, my kid's not getting on Instagram, they're only 11, but if they're interested, learning about it doesn't hurt, or the careers that they can have in art. So the registration is open. I'm going to leave it open till Wednesday. Parents are welcome. So if your kid is enrolled and you would like to attend with them, you can. You don't have to, you yourself don't have to register, just your kiddo. Okay. You don't have to enroll with them, but I just kind of figured that if you were sending one of your younger ones, you might be interested in what I'm telling them, and you might also have questions, and then you learning the information might also help them along their journey. So that's the workshop that's coming up. This is a kind of a beta program that we're testing out to see if there's an interest in a small group class that would be very hands-on in teaching these skills. If there's not, that's okay. But I want to get kind of some ideas out there, feel out the like who's interested, so that I can create and fulfill a need. If there's not enough for a class, then I will do, one-on-one or small group mentorship. But if there's enough for a weekly class, I'd love to do that as well. So that workshop is coming up this coming Sunday for anyone who is interested in that. All right, you guys, that's the last thing. So I think that's it. If anybody needs anything from me, I am here all week long, and I can't wait to see you for classes. Have a wonderful rest of your Monday, and I will see you soon.